Human Rights, by Mayssa Zarrouki. Thank you for coming. Hello everyone, we are here at English Training and thanks to Mr. Lotfi Majul we are going to talk about human rights. What are human rights? Human rights belong to each and every one of us equally. Human rights are standards that recognize and protect the dignity of all human beings. Human rights include the right to life and liberty, freedom from slavery and torture, freedom of opinion and expression, the right to work and education, and many more. Individuals also have responsibilities. In using their human rights, they must respect the rights of others. Everyone is entitled to these rights, without discrimination. No government, group or individual person has the right to do anything that violates another's rights. International human rights law. Human rights are universal and inalienable. All people everywhere in the world are entitled to them. International human rights law lays down the obligations of governments to act in certain ways or to refrain from certain acts, in order to promote and protect human rights and fundamental freedoms of individuals or groups. One of the great achievements of the United Nations is the creation of a comprehensive body of human rights law, a universal and internationally protected code to which all nations can subscribe and all people aspire. The United Nations has defined a broad range of internationally accepted rights, including civil, cultural, economic, political and social rights. One of the greatest achievements of the United Nations is the creation of a comprehensive body of human rights law, a universal and internationally protected code to which all nations can subscribe and all people aspire. The foundations of this body of law are the Charter of the United Nations and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, adopted by the General Assembly in 1945 and 1948, respectively. Indivisibility. Human rights are indivisible. Whether civil, political, economic, social, or cultural in nature, they are all inherent to the dignity of every human person. Consequently, they all have equal status as rights. There is no such thing as a small right. There is no hierarchy of human rights. Economic, social, and cultural rights. The International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights entered into force in 1976. The human rights that the Covenant seeks to promote and protect include the right to work in just and favorable conditions, the right to social protection, to an adequate standard of living and to the highest attainable standards of physical and mental well-being, the right to education and the enjoyment of benefits of cultural freedom and scientific progress. Civil and political rights. The International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights and its first optional protocol entered into force in 1976. The second optional protocol was adopted in 1989. Human Rights Councils. The Human Rights Council, established on 15 March 2006 by the General Assembly and reporting directly to it, replaced the 60-year-old UN Commission on Human Rights as the key UN intergovernmental body responsible for human rights. Human Rights Conventions. A series of international human rights treaties and other instruments adopted since 1945 have expanded the body of international human rights law. They include the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide, 1948, the International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination, 1965. Participation and inclusion. Every person and all people are entitled to active, free and meaningful participation in, contribution to, and enjoyment of civil, political, economic, social and cultural development, through which human rights and fundamental freedoms can be realized. Equality and non-discrimination. All individuals are equal as human beings and by virtue of the inherent dignity of each human person. All human beings are entitled to their human rights without discrimination of any kind, such as race, color, sex, ethnicity, age, language, religion, political or other opinion, national or social origin, disability, property, birth or other status as explained by the human rights treaty bodies. Thank you for your attention. With love, Mayssa. And now we're going to have a presentation about equity and equality presented to you by Nourhen Abcha.
Hi, my name is Nourhen Abcha. Welcome to English training. Thank you Mr. Lotfi Majul for always believing in our potential. Today we are going to talk to you about equity and equality. Equity versus Equality by Nourhen Abcha. Contents. 1. The definition of equity and equality. 2. Types of equality. Political equality, economic equality, civil equality, social equality. 3. Gender equality. Meaning of gender equality. Impact of discrimination based on gender. The importance of equality between men and women. 4. Conclusion. Introduction. Today, we are going to explore one of the most controversial topics the world is facing these days. Equity versus equality, in the areas of education, health, sports, opportunities, and so on. However, there are still millions of people who have a common misconception that equity is the same as equality, but the truth is that they are different. Equity refers to the just and fair provision of resources to all individuals, which represents impartiality. Conversely, equality denotes the provision of the same resources to all people. It is the state of being the same when it comes to status, rights, and opportunities. The definition of equity and equality. Equity. The term equity refers to the system of justice and fairness, where there is an even-handed treatment of all people. Under this system, individual needs and requirements are taken into account and treated accordingly. Equity demands fairness in every situation, whether it is the distribution of benefits or burdens. Therefore people are treated fairly but differently as their circumstances are given weight. It seeks to provide all individuals an equal opportunity, to let them attain their maximum potential. In this way, equity ensures that all individuals are provided the resources they need to have access to the same opportunities as the general population. Equality is when everyone is treated in the same way, without giving any effect to their need and requirements. In finer terms, it is a state of getting the same quantity or value or status. It is a situation where each and every individual is granted the same rights and responsibilities, irrespective of their individual differences. Equality is the lifeline of a democratic society, that aims to prevent discrimination and provides equal opportunity to all. It can be racial equality, equality between rich and poor, men and women, etc. The central idea of equality is that all individuals get equal treatment in society and are not discriminated against on the basis of race, gender, caste, nationality, disability, age, religion. Types of equality. Political equality. Political equality guarantees the enjoyment of similar political rights to all citizens. Universal adult franchise is a means to this end. Political equality is actually the test on the experiments of democracy. It is also believed that political equality in itself is not adequate to disperse political power. It also needs socio-economic equality to achieve political equality. Economic equality. Economic equality is justifiable only when all people have reasonable opportunities to develop themselves fully. Economic equality is meaningful only when there is adequate scope for employment, reasonable wages, adequate leisure. Civil equality. The word civil is derived from the Latin word civilis or civic, which means citizen. Civil equality means equality in which each citizen is provided with equal civil rights and liberties. Civil equality consists of similar civil liberties and civil rights for all citizens. Civil laws should treat all individuals equally. There should not be any discrimination of superior and inferior, the rich and the poor, caste and creed, color and race, clans and tribes, groups and classes. social equality. Social equality is a state of affairs in which all individuals within a specific society have equal rights, liberties, and status, possibly including civil rights, freedom of expression, autonomy, and equal access to certain public goods and social services. Social equality requires the absence of legally enforced social class or caste boundaries and the absence of discrimination motivated by an inalienable part of an individual's identity. For example, advocates of social equality believe in equality before the law for all individuals regardless of gender, ethnicity, age, caste or class, language, religion, convictions, opinions, health, or disability. Gender equality. In recent times the whole world has seen amazing development in every aspect of life. People are getting jobs, technology is getting smarter and businesses are earning a decent amount. It seems like everything is running smoothly and the thinking of people is developing. But there is one dark side of the society that has been part of the system for decades and looking for a solution desperately termed as gender equality. Women feel exploited in various places such as schools, colleges, and workplaces. According to the survey, every second working women feel that they are getting less pay than men for the same work. Meaning of gender equality. Equality between men and women means that both genders should not be treated differently on the sole basis of their gender. This applies to all fields of life, for example, the rights, opportunities, and status of the two genders. Therefore, men and women should be treated equally with regard to everything. There are no circumstances where a woman or a man should be treated differently because of their gender. Impact of discrimination based on gender. 1. In India, millions of girls still don't get a chance to go to school. 2. More than 80% of women face domestic violence in Pakistan. 3. Higher gender discrimination will lead to a situation where our society exposes an increase in sexual harassment. 4. Gender inequality is the reason only 15% of women are in higher positions in parliamentary seats around the globe. 5. It will increase the thinking gap between men and women. Men will continue to stereotype women and vice versa. The importance of equality between men and women.
1. At a most basic level, it will help humans in becoming a better version of themselves. It also creates a well-organized society. 2. Equal jobs and education opportunities will make another gender financially independent, as they can also contribute to the economic development of their country and company. 3. Equal treatment is a right of everyone. 4. More and more women in the workforce will give a new dimension to work and open up new opportunities. 5. According to research, companies that have a female workforce are performing better in comparison to organizations that do not have enough women employees. 6. It will lead others to know and respect another gender. It let them know about the ups and downs that other gender people have to face. 7. The impact of social media on youth surprisingly turned out positive in this. It has changed the way of thinking and made people more aware of gender. People started respecting women because of this. They also get a chance to know about the emotional and soft side of men. Conclusion. It's a matter of concern for us as a society that things like gender inequality still exist in our lives. People have to understand this at the most basic level if they want to grow. Many countries are working towards the betterment of gender equality, whereas some countries making it even more worse. Equal opportunity is something that is a basic right of everyone despite having caste, color, or gender. In the last century, we have been able to make this world an equal place for all at a certain level.